Hello everyone, welcome to Java tutorial. My name is Kishore. In this video, we will discuss about non-primitive data types. In Java, there are two kinds of data types. One is primitive data types and one more is non-primitive data types. There is another name for non-primitive data types which are also called as derived data types. We have seen primitive data types like int, short, byte, float, long, double, char, boolean. These are called as primitive data types and they can only store simple type of value or single value. In case of non-primitive data types, you can store multiple values or you can store complex data. Some of the examples of non-primitive data types are arrays, then class, interface, and enums. We will discuss about class, interface, and enum later, but we will discuss about arrays in this video. So what are arrays? Arrays are nothing but a variable or a container object which can store multiple values of same type. So to create an array, there are two different syntax you can use. The first syntax is you can mention the type of the array and then the variable name equals the multiple values separated by commas. Notice you have to use here a square bracket that represents it's an array. And the second syntax is type, then variable equals new keyword followed by type with size. The second syntax is just going to allocate a new memory. That's what this new keyword is going to do. It allocates a new memory and the type represents what type of data the memory is going to have and the size represents how much memory needs to be allocated for that variable. Let us understand the purpose of an array and why we need an array. Say, for example, you want to create a variable called marks1 and store some value like 65. What if you want to store six different marks of various subjects? You might go and create six different variables like marks1, marks2, marks3, like that. But instead of creating multiple variables, you can store all these marks in a single variable using an array. That is, using the first syntax, we can declare an array like this and we can store multiple values. Let me store some values like 65, 75, 80, 55, then 78, 90. And if you notice here, I have stored six values in a single variable marks. If you want to access an element in an array, you should use index. In array, the index starts from 0. It means 65 is the very first element. To access that element, you should use the index number 0. 75 is present at index number 1. Let me print the value of index number 0. So element at first position. I will use marks and the index number. And if I run this program, you can see element at first position is 65. So this 65 is present at first position, but you use the index number 0. So totally how many index numbers you can use for this marks array is from 0 to 5 you can use. There are 6 elements. Because you are starting the index from 0, you have to use from 0 to 5. If I print the element at sixth position, the value is going to be 90. Let me use marks of 5 because the index starts from 0 I need to use marks of 5 if I want to access the sixth position element. So it is printing 90. That way you can access the element in the array. Let me use the second syntax and see how it works. So this is the second syntax. Let me use your integer items equals new int of 4. So what does it going to do is it is going to allocate a new memory of 4 blocks. It means items is going to have 4 blocks of memory to store integer value. But this time it will not have any values. It is going to have the default values. Means each index will be initialized with the value 0 because 0 is the default value for int. Let me see what is the value it prints if I access element at first position in item. I will use here items of 0. And if I run this program, it is going to print element at first position in items is 0. Let me make it items so that it prints element at first position in items is 0. Let me use few more print statements to print the other elements like second position. What it prints, let me see. It is again printing 0. So how do I initialize this value? Before printing, let me initialize the value of these items. So I write items of 0 equals 22, items of 1 equals to 33, then items of 2 equals 11, then items of 3 equals to 44. And this time the array is initialized with these values. Since there are 4 memory blocks, I can initialize only from 0 to 3. Let me run this program. This time you can observe it is printing 22 and 33. But what happens if I try to access the index which is not present in the array? Let's say the marks, which has totally 6 elements. What is going to happen if I access element at 7th position in marks? Let's see what it prints if I write marks of, since it is 7th position, I should use marks of 6. And if I run this program, it is printing java.lang.array index out of bounds exception. Because there is no index number 6 in the marks, it is printing this exception, means it actually raised an exception. So you cannot access an index which is not present in the array. Let me comment and run this program. Now there is no exception. In Java, an array is going to have one inbuilt property called length property. So what this length property does in an array is it is going to return the size of the array. So let me print the size of items, by using the variable name dot length, and let me also print size of marks array by using marks dot length. And after running the program, you should see size of items is 4 and size of marks is 6. So you might be thinking how to display all these values. So to display all these values, you should use the index number, but you might repeat using the marks variable again and again. Is there a convenient way to not repeat the marks variable while displaying? Yes, you should use loops. In that case, you do not need to repeat every time to display the marks value. So how to use the loops, that we will see in separate video, but this example is just to demonstrate what are non-primitive data types and also an array. So thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.